House of Representatives moves to end prolonged ASUU strike. House seeks establishment of the National Electoral Offences Commission. And House urges federal government to complete reconstruction of Abuja-Kaduna Road. Nigerians are still in the independence anniversary mood, so it's in order to say happy independence. Let me welcome you on that note to you and your reps on the NTA. I'm Victor Azo. Thank you for joining us. The leadership of the House of Representatives says it plans to present to Mr. President what it calls an informed second option on how to end the ongoing ASUU strike. After a reconvened meeting with ASUU officials and heads of relevant government agencies towards resolving the issues at stake, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila says information gathered from these extensive interactions would assist the leadership to compile fact-based recommendations.
I'm pleading with you. The House is pleading with you. Let us put all interests aside and look at only one interest, and that's the interest of our children.
The House leadership plans to meet with the President this week to submit their recommendations. Meanwhile, as political parties kickstart campaign for the 2023 general election, the House of Representatives has expressed commitment to accelerating passage of the bill seeking to establish the National Electoral Offences Commission. Now, our correspondent at the National Assembly, Lami Ali, tells us that the Committee on Electoral Matters laid the report.
The National Electoral Offences Commission Establishment Bill submitted for consideration contains provisions targeted at improving electoral process by blocking loopholes that enable violations by political actors. Plenary featured second reading of 6 bills, among them bill to establish veterinary teaching hospital for universities, sponsored by House Chief Whip Mohammed Tahir Monguno.
To give legal teeth and legal backing so that they can operate within the mandate of the statutory law establishing them.
Others are bill to establish Federal Infrastructure Rehabilitation Management Agency, sponsored by Okudili Ezengwankwo, and bill to establish Federal College of Education Uboha, sponsored by Sergius Ogun. Bill to establish National University's Special Intervention Trust Fund from Kabir Al-Hassan Rurum was among the 5 that passed first reading. Meanwhile, House has urged authorities to assist victims of Wednesday's tanker fire accident in Kogi State, as moved by Abdullahi Halims.
Trailer laden with petroleum motor spirit, PMS, lost control in Ankpa Township, resulting in a fatal accident, leading to death of about 40 people.
House members also supported the appeal from Abdul Qadir Rahis, urging relevant authorities to assist victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri, Borno State.
The affected residents of the communities are currently facing untold hardships and the fear of impending seasonal flooding.
Other motions adopted are the need to address the deplorable state of Kefi Nyanya Road, as raised by Gaza Jonathan, and the call from Dachung Bagos, alerting authorities to activate response against Ebola disease.
About 70% of federal government workers, business class and interstate commuters plying the routes spend 4 to 5 hours daily through and fro from their offices and other businesses.
Nigeria has reason to be worried at the moment as a deadly Ebola virus can get into Nigeria through our borders or travelers coming into Nigeria for businesses.
A legislation that seeks to improve the general budget process and strengthen fiscal responsibility for greater impact across sectors and segments in Nigeria is in the works at the House of Representatives. Now, the clearest sign yet is that the bill proposing establishment of the Office of Budget Management of the Federation has passed second reading.
The establishment bill, jointly sponsored by the Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila and Representative Henry Wauba, is directed at ensuring accuracy and fiscal transparency in budget preparation presentation and implementation by way of effective supervision and evaluation. Another key provision of the bill is in the area of budget audits.
We essentially need to put the budget process together in a piece of legislation that will seek to guarantee that our budget, once we lay it and pass it, it is a document that is responsive to the people and it's connected to the people. And if we don't implement it as prescribed, it's actually punishable by law.
The bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. Also passed at second reading is the bill seeking to amend the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Act to enhance operations of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. The amendment bill is sponsored by Representative Isiaka Ibrahim and 11 other House members.
Review the mode of appointment of the Director General of the agency, strengthen the composition of its governing board, and review the offences and penal provisions.
6 bills passed first reading, including the bill seeking to criminalize improper disposal of harmful waste.
In another development, the House of Representatives observes that there is visible improvement in the general state of security on the Abuja-Kaduna road. However, the uncompleted state of reconstruction of the road has led to gridlock, sometimes leaving commuters stranded for days. Now, the members are therefore urging the federal government to act.
The issue was raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Representative Garba Deti Mohammed. He notes that the road is of economic importance as it is a major link between the northern and southern parts of Nigeria.
As the construction is going on, Julius Berger decided to park its personnel and equipment in the Jere-Kaduna portion of the road. Intense rainfall of the past few months has given way to gauges and potholes that have left the road unmotorable and severely slowed down traffic.
The House urged the Ministry of Works and Housing to direct the contractor to resume work, and thus federal government should deploy military to secure resources and equipment mobilized for the project. The motion from Zakaria Ugaladima urging federal government assistance to the family of the cleric killed in Yobe was adopted. Among bills that passed second reading are the two sponsored by the House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila. The first bill seeks establishment of a National Religious Harmony Commission, and the second seeks to prohibit late payments of workers' wages, pensions and other emoluments.
It is an all-important bill that after the establishment of the bill and secondment, we just allow it go without even being debated.
2 bills were read the third time and passed, including the bill repealing the National Lottery Act.
To regulate the operations and business of gaming in Nigeria and enhance revenue generation for the government of the Federation, to complement the funding gap of the Commission and for related matters.
Under this bill shall be both in electronic and manual with the procedure.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
And Mr. Speaker, we have all agreed that these necessary changes should be effected.
Thank you. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
The majority leader is a senior official in parliament, no doubt. In Nigeria's House of Representatives, the majority leader, or simply leader of the House, presents bills from the executive arm of government, among other responsibilities. Let's get a better idea of the scope of the majority leader's mandate from Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata.
The leader, he presides over debates. He is also the leader of the majority. He guides the majority members on debates, ensures attendance, and then guide his members on voting whenever there is an issue of special interest. He also lead debates on especially motions from the executive, bills from the executive, or bills transmitted from Senate for concurrence.
Nigeria is now 62 years as an independent nation, with mixed successes in various spheres of the economy and governance. Now, how has the legislature fared these 62 years? We spoke with a vastly experienced legislator and Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Mohammed Tahir Monguno, to get a sense.
There has been very tremendous and phenomenal growth of the Nigerian legislature from independence to date, especially considering issues related to the quality of representation as well as the quality of legislation that is being passed. Though the quality of legislation that is being passed by any legislature is a function of the quality of representation. So as such, over the years, there has been tremendous improvement in the quality of representation in the legislature, in the sense that people that have attained the pinnacle of their career are part and parcel of the legislature. Experts on diverse field of human endeavor are also part and parcel of the legislature, thereby giving the necessary zeal and tonic to churn out good legislations in the process. And over the years also, the independence of the legislature has been considerably improved compared to what it used to be. It used to be before. The legislature is now much more assertive and jealously guards and protects its powers in the discharge of its constitutional mandate compared to the initial period of inception of the legislature. So generally speaking, there has been tremendous and phenomenal growth in terms of quality of representation, in terms of quality of bills that is being passed that impacts positively on Nigerians, as well as the independence of the legislature that is being jealously guarded and protected by the legislature now. Definitely because of the fact that the Constitution stipulates the minimum qualification to be a legislator, which is a school certificate. And therefore, you cannot rule out people with this minimum qualification in the legislature because it's a function of who Nigerians or his constituents think or deem fit to represent them. But those that are of lower qualification that you pointed out are a minute percentage of the legislature nowadays. You go through the resume of the legislature, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives, majority of them have first degree. So those that have only schools certificate are in the minority. They constitute a minute percentage of the legislature as compared to in the First and Second Republic, where there is preponderance of people that have school certificate level. But now it is reversed. People that have PhDs, masters, legal practitioners, doctors, and what have you. These are the people that now dominate the legislature. Those that have primary school certificate, or sorry, secondary school certificate are in the minorities. They constitute a minute percentage of the. So because of that, there is tremendous improvement in the quality of representation with all the attendant effect of turning out good quality legislation that impacts positively on Nigerians. The general opinion of Nigerians is that the Nigerian legislature is not truly independent. But there are certain scenarios or events in history that the Nigerian legislature has truly shown that it is not only independent, but it is truly independent. That is when successive arms of the executive decide to impose their own candidate on the legislature, and the legislature reports and then assert its independence, assert its authority, elect their leaders irrespective of the choice of the executive. And then the example in point is the emergence of Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, which is clearly against the ways of the executive, and then the emergence of Yakubu Dogora, which is also clearly against the wish of the executive at that period in time. So these are events that need to be given a whole chapter when the history of the Nigerian legislature is to be written, especially when it comes to the independence of the legislature, contrary to the general belief that the Nigerian legislature is a mere appendage or a rubber stamp to the executive arm of government. So these two events clearly stand out and in the annals of the history of the Nigerian legislature to prove its independence. The Nigerian legislature, because of the constant military incursion into our body politic over the years, has been deprived of the necessary wherewithal and necessary technical know-how to develop and attain its full potentials. So one of the shortcomings which is occasioned as a result of military incursion into our body politic is the issue of technical know-how. The Nigerian legislature is bereft of the necessary technical know-how and wherewithal to effectively discharge the functions of their office or to effectively discharge their constitutional mandate. So this is one area that I think we need to concentrate on, because to attain the necessary technical know-how, it takes a lot of time, training, training of the manpower, retraining, and what have you, before you attain the necessary technical know-how. So I think that is the major gap that needs to be filled. And I know over the years, or as we go by, definitely this gap will be breached.
This week on You and Your Reps, the committee segment takes a look at activities of the ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives investigating the joint venture business and production sharing contracts between NNPC Limited and international oil companies. We spoke with chairman of the ad hoc committee, Hassan Fulata.
We've been mandated by the House to investigate all joint venture agreements and production sharing contracts of the NNPC and other major oil companies with a view to ascertaining whether the operations of the JV agreements conform with our laws, as well as also whether the operations of the production sharing contracts are in favor of Nigeria. What prompted this issue is that we are one of the largest oil producing countries in the world. For the past 8 months, NNPC has not made a single contribution to the Federation account. And then Nigeria is paying JV joint venture cash calls. The little revenue that we have from other sources, customs, federal inland revenue, are also utilized to pay for the production of crude oil. This sounds stupid, suspicious, unfortunate, and there is no reason absolutely whatever for Nigeria, so rich, to go and borrow money from banks to pay salary. This is most unfortunate. It is with this patriotic zeal that the House thought it wise to investigate really the level of compliance with our laws, the operations of these joint ventures. Well, we've sent letters. They have started responding. You can see volumes of these responses from all companies, NNPC, Federal Inland Revenue, Office of the Accountant General. We have started receiving responses. And a situation where companies operating in Nigeria do not pay tax, violating our laws. We are looking for money. Companies getting oil, crude oil from Nigeria are not paying us tax. This is most unfortunate. But I don't want to preempt the findings of the committee, who are still investigating. By the end of our investigation, all these things will be made known. My mandate is to investigate, establish the facts, submit my reports to the House in plenary for its approval. I'm done.
This one will interest Nigerians and will be sure to bring you all the developments as they unfold. That's where we leave it on You and Your Reps. Thanks for keeping us company. I'm Victor, as you join us again.